News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a very good morning to you. This is Newsline, live from the News First studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And this program's always topical. And in that line, we've got a very important guest this morning. He's the Executive Director at the Airport Aviation Services Company of Sri Lanka, Mr. Johanne Jayaratne. Very good morning to you, Mr. Jayaratne.
Very good morning to you.
And welcome to Newsline. It's on everybody's mind. 5 hours check-in time at Sri Lanka's airport. Why so long?
Essentially, for us, we are contracting a 24-hour operation to 16 hours. So we have to essentially process the same number of passengers in that given time frame. And we have a limited number of counters, 52 to be exact. And we have 14 additional counters that we put
52 check-in counters.
52, and we added another 14.
Right. Ahead of this.
Ahead of the runway overlay program, and within that constraint, we have to process the same number of passengers. So this is why the 5-hour requirement.
Right.
I would also want to emphasize that typically it's a 3-hour.
So what you're saying is ordinarily it would be 3 hours.
It's 3 hours. So we have just added another 2 hours just to accommodate this runway overlay program.
Right. Why, some people say, why are you repairing this thing in this manner? Why are you closing it? What is the alternative?
The rationale is very simple. In 2001, ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, made a recommendation in 2001. So we are 15 years behind that recommendation.
Well, not quite. We've got Mattala, but that's another story.
Mattala is another story. Let's leave that aside for now. We started this work based on very few cognizant facts. Why January? Peak of tourism? Because it is the driest spell in the country.
Right.
We need to have dry weather.
Right.
That's why, unfortunately, we chose this particular time frame.
Right.
It's understood that it's the peak of the season, but we had to choose it simply because of weather.
I've just come from Negombo. It's full of tourists. They all got one thing to say. What's going on in your airport?
Right. And just to continue, the time frame, 8:30 to 4:30, is simply because we have the least number of movements in that given time frame.
Right.
That's the rationale behind the closure time and the period. Daytime, very, very conducive to engineering and construction. So all these factors were taken into consideration prior to us actually,
How much is this runway overlay program costing?
It's 48.5 million US.
Right. And who's doing it then?
We have CATIC, which is a Chinese company that's doing the construction work.
Were these unsolicited bids?
No, they were very, very transparent.
Very much solicited.
Absolutely solicited.
Right.
Absolutely solicited.
Where's the funding coming from? This
Airport Aviation is paying for this.
Oh, right. You're getting a soft loan?
Yes. Yeah.
What kind of rate?
It's at about 2.5%.
Over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that sounds all very good.
It's very good. It's very good. We are very comfortable with it.
Commercially viable.
Absolutely, and it's a national requirement, and we have to do it.
Yes.
So hence, the project. I mean, it took 15 years to get this.
Who's negotiating the financial package? Do you all do that yourselves, or
yes,
is it from the supplier?
Airport Aviation does it.
Right.
Yeah. We did the whole negotiation, and at this point, I must really be very thankful to our line minister, Honorable Nimal Siripada, who actually pushed this very hard once he realized that the need for this.
Right.
And it happened.
Is he amenable sort of chappy?
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Get him on the phone. You can talk to him?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Producer, note that. He's an amenable chap. Phone him Book him on the program. Good. And we'll say that you said that.
Yes.
All right, so it's all looking good now. It's transparent and so on, and you've explained why, even though it's unfortunate. There really are tourists out there who are gutted because, 5 hours is like half of their day gone.
I would put it to you this way. I have yet to come across any major complaints from tourists about this 5-hour layover. Understood that people from the south or wherever that they have to originate from to come to the airport is going to be a point of contention, but there have been no complaints. I mean, people are used to this.
And Mr. Jayaratne, you've got a captive audience there. You've got them checking in up to 5 hours. I know that many Sri Lankans find keeping time a challenging task. So you got them captive there, and it makes perfect sense the way you explain it, about the time period and so on. Do you have like a promotional video on big screens all over the airport,
Absolutely.
in the departure areas? So because they're captive, they're doing nothing, they can sit there and watch this and say, that's why. So when they go back, they're not thinking that we don't know how to, have a drink up in the brewery, but there is a rationale. Have you got anything like that?
Once again, a very good point. We do have a lot of promotional things that are happening at the airport right now.
Yeah.
We have, like you said, we have promotional videos. We have unlimited Wi-Fi connectivity. So that's probably one of the major things in this subcontinent, because airports don't offer unlimited Wi-Fi to speak of. So we have accommodated that. We have kiosks open all over for refreshments and so on. And we have, believe it or not, we have 2 Calypso bands.
Oh, right. I saw images of that.
Yeah, and it's apparently quite a hit.
Right.
And people are enjoying. People are enjoying their time.
You need to make that extra 2 hours a positive experience.
Absolutely. And we do our utmost to accommodate that by way of entertainment, by way of just promoting the country's image.
That's what it is, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's the country's image.
Yeah.
What are the other departments or the other components of the airport operation doing, like the baggage handling, the immigration, the buggies, and so on? So let's look at the immigration counters.
Yeah. If I were to just refer to some notes here, I must be very, very thankful to immigration for the extra effort that they're putting into this this entire effort. They are manning the counters well, adequately to process the passengers in this concentrated time, and that has worked really well. I must also be thankful to customs, who are doing an excellent job.
So my conception, but it's not always a misconception, but my thing is that we get off the flight and we're walking along to the immigration counters, and all you see is all the counters. There aren't any heads there. And as the queues start forming, almost miraculously, like a little mushroom, they come up. And you get 1 guy, 2 guys, 3 guys. But they usually always a queue. It's almost become the norm to stand in the queue. You just have to. But why should we have to? This is a happy place. If the tourists are coming in.
Absolutely.
They've saved up money, and the minute the door opens, they're in holiday mode. They're already in holiday mode on the aircraft, and whichever airline has tried their best to make it a pleasant service and all that. So you don't want to cut the enjoyment when they land and say, "Oh my God, they're really going to take 4 hours or 2 hours, 1 hour?" What's the average time from the passenger getting off to getting out?
It's 23 minutes is our KPI.
Which is what? From the time
they get out the aircraft to the time they actually depart the airport.
Oh, right, after getting their bags, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. And,
what do you achieve in that? What percentage of the 23 minutes?
I would say almost 70 to 80%.
Right.
Is what we're looking at right now.
Okay.
So our KPIs are very good in that sense. And as far as immigration is concerned, during this particular period, they're doing an exceptional job of processing the passengers.
They're not suddenly going off to have a cup of tea just as the queues are starting.
A cup of tea is important.
It is important, but not when we're standing in the queue.
Right now, thankfully,
is every counter, you said you had 52 checking counters which appear to be overworked. What about, how many counters are there in immigration?
We have 16 on arrival.
Right.
And they are 90% manned.
Right.
And the manning right now is sufficient to process the passengers. Could be better. But
one of our viewers has come to your aid. Says they, I think you, have no control of immigration. They appear to be superior people. So is it true? Have you got any influence over the immigration people?
Let me put it this way, Faraz. An airport is like a mini UN.
Okay.
There are many agencies that work under that umbrella.
Right, okay.
And we don't have control over any of them.
Right.
But we work through diplomacy.
Right.
And your commenter, who sent this, was very accurate.
Right.
We work through diplomacy, and it's a good relationship that we have with all of these entities.
Right.
And like I said, it's a mini UN.
Right. She called the chap and have a cup of tea, probably. Now then, I'm going on about tea because I've got this thing to say to you. The airport is used by so many people, but I think I'd be right in saying that amongst the Sri Lankan users, the biggest number would be the group what we call migrant workers.
Sure.
And they travel from the length and breadth of the country and so on, and they get there really tired, and they probably meet your 5 hours well in time because they've been told previously it's 3 hours, now it's another 2 hours. They probably get there the whole day before, just in case they miss their flight. But when they're there, there's one thing they can't do. They can't have a cup of tea because not all of them can afford over $1 to have. I think a coffee is $5 and that sort of thing.
Right.
And these people are not able to afford that. And they are tired. And they are confused, especially the first time people going abroad. And so can't you allow them to have at least a cup of tea? It's this national thing, isn't it? You give someone a cup of tea. Someone comes to your house. I don't want tea. No, have a cup of tea. No, really, I don't want it. Have a cup of tea. So in that kind of context, I don't know. Maybe when they're going through the foreign employment, they get a little thing saying, just a cup of tea. When you go out there, hand it over to somewhere, someplace. Get yourself a cup of tea. Can't you do that?
We certainly can.
Yeah.
I will take this very seriously, and we will make it available. I'm going to reach out to the Tea Board to help us with this and facilitate this.
Whether the Tea Board, and this is the whole thing, because I can suddenly say, oh, well, why should we do this and why should they do that? I'm sure if you write to all the tea companies, they'll all say to you, you can have so many kilos of tea. You guys sort it out. And I'm sure they'll do that in the greater interest of, the people, but it's also a double purpose. And that collateral purpose could be the marketing of this world-famous drink.
Absolutely, and we can facilitate it. We can facilitate it, and we will definitely take a very, very serious look at
I got
this.
nothing against these machines that sell this coffee.
Right.
But, sorry, we produce tea.
Sure.
And that's our national drink.
Yeah.
You know, and what better place? You know, captive audience.
Yeah.
Some of them can't afford it, so you're serving them. So I'm glad that you're going to take on. What about this? Driving in this morning, somebody phoned me and asked me, you know, who's going on? And I said, it's you. And he said, oh God, yeah, could you ask them? Apparently, the buggies in the airport, there's only a couple of drivers. Is that true? So they both go off work. We've got no buggies.
There are a few buggies.
Yeah. Really, there's only two in the morning. You need to check on this. It's that's what
right,
you said.
right. It's a good point, and we'll certainly take a look at that.
And by and large, you maintaining organized. It's not chaos, is it?
It isn't. Thankfully, there was a lot of planning that went into this.
Yeah.
We've been planning this for almost 1 year,
Right.
Prior to the actual closure, which happened on the 6th, and all the agencies were a part of it. And there has been an absolutely fantastic collaborative effort on the part of all these agencies that's making this passenger facilitation part of it very successful right now.
So I haven't. There you go. Everyone's watching this program, so thank you. Keep them coming in. Why not treat business class passengers the same way other airports do? Even the immigration facility they had through the Silk Road was withdrawn because immigration refused to do it. Mini UN or other, they have no say about them. They are a law unto themselves. We are now talking about immigration.
Right. I'm very happy to state that immigration will be present in the Silk Route. And the business class passengers, it's not only business class. Anybody can use that service.
As long as you pay for it.
As long as you pay for it.
Right.
It's $50.
Right.
And immigration will be in place this week.
Right.
And I'm very happy to state
that you can check in, you can do immigration all in the Silk Road place.
At the Silk Road, yes.
For $50.
For $50, yes.
Right. $50 is right. Okay. 7,000 something rupees.
Yeah.
Okay. Can they pay that in rupees?
Yes, of course.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And how much of this time will you? Then how late can you leave it if you're doing Silk Road?
That's a very good question. I'm not going to commit to anything at the moment
because they'll all have it on their phones. This is what you said.
Yes, of course. 5 hours is the requirement, Silk Route or not.
Right.
Silk Route will just facilitate and make it more convenient because it's a separate entry. And the whole process takes place in this particular lounge. It's just convenience.
Okay, and then how the lounges doing? Are they geared to this extra sort of concentrated? I don't suppose there are any different numbers overall, but they're concentrated into this time period now.
It's busy. It's very, the lounges,
but I hope you're not. I hope they're not saying to people, "Oh, sorry, we got no water because all the delays."
No, that's not happening.
Right.
They're very well equipped, but it is the lounges are crowded.
Right.
Simply because of the concentration and the time period.
Right.
They are crowded.
But they're well stocked. I think that's
very
what
well
I'm
stocked.
trying to say.
Very well stocked.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody, this whole operation, this whole team airport. Are all firing on full cylinders?
Who's
dragging their feet?
No one is dragging. I like your phrase, team airport.
Yes, it's team airport.
Yeah, and everyone is functioning to the maximum.
Right.
And it's a collaborative effort that is working beautifully as we go on.
And they're all flying the Sri Lankan flag because it's our country we're talking about.
Absolutely, because this is not an airport aviation project, it's a national project. We need this runway overlaid. It is a national requirement.
We're getting a call in through our control room. They want to know why I'm not asking about Matala. I am. What about Matala Airport?
Matala is doing reasonably well,
right?
All things considered.
Yeah.
The reason that Matala is not utilized by most airlines is because of their choice. because of the connectivity issue between Matala and Colombo. But I'm also happy to state that Sri Lankan Airlines has all their Chinese flights operating out of Matala. And I must also go on to add that as of yesterday, there were 240 passengers, joining passengers from Matala.
Yeah.
Joining passengers.
So what is that? Departure Colombo?
It's departure Colombo to Matala, Matala to China, Shanghai and Beijing. And we have joining passengers from that area that's coming in. We have Shangri-La, which is very active right now, and there are charter operations going on. I'm also happy to state that Fly Dubai flies every day.
No, right. They haven't stopped.
They haven't stopped.
They haven't been put off by this
absolutely not.
use of one section as a paddy storage unit.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Overall, Matala is beginning to take shape.
Good. And it's obviously, I don't suppose it's making commercial sense right now, is it, Matala?
Airports generally are infrastructure.
Right.
Commercial viability will come once a destination happens.
Right.
People don't fly to airports, they fly to destinations. And in that context, once that entire region begins to take shape, Matala will find its own.
It'll come
identity.
into its own.
Yes.
So there is a future for Matala then?
Absolutely, because typically an airport ROI is about 20 to 25 years. So we are just a few years into Matala. We have processed over 120,000 passengers so far. So it will come to its own in time.
Can you let on what happened to the paddy?
Paddy. It was.
Did you export it?
It was removed. Let me put it that way. It was removed.
Did you reinstall all the air conditioning units that were just ripped out?
We did.
That was a crying shame. We've got photographs of that sent to me by people who actually work there and who are the ultimate patriots, obviously, because they felt so badly about this.
The cargo building was not particularly meant for paddy storage, but it served a purpose at the time, for whatever reason. But it's
solved now.
It's solved now.
Right. Okay, well, you're making progress. It's good to see you making progress. I mean, there's always this concern that political patronage, family power, nepotism and all that, and influence that leads to appointments. But I'm glad that you have got a sort of aviation background, and somebody somewhere has tracked you down and persuaded you to come back to Sri Lanka and serve the land of your birth, probably. How does it feel for a returning Sri Lankan to come and work in this country after so long abroad as you have done?
It's been a pleasure.
No, but really, are you just saying this because you're on Newsline?
Not particularly. Aviation is my passion,
right?
And it's great to be able to come back and help aviation in this country, because after all, we are an island, and aviation plays a major role in everything that we do here.
Yeah.
And to be able to contribute in any way, shape or form is a pleasure. And I just wish that things would move faster, but that's just the way it is in Sri Lanka.
But you are trying to get it going.
Absolutely. And once again, I must once again re-emphasize the fact that we have a minister who is absolutely proactive and who identified certain things that had to be done, not just the runway overlay, stage 2, which is a new terminal, airspace redesign.
You're not his chief organizer, are you?
No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is,
right.
When you have that kind of dynamism at the top, everything works well.
Good. I'm glad. But as an aviation enthusiast, or not enthusiast, somebody passionate about aviation, we'll ask you the question. Was it a good idea to locate the second airport as it is located now? Would there have been another place, less, better environmentally? I don't know. I'm asking you.
In my view, Sri Lanka required a second airport.
Right.
The location may have been a political decision.
Yeah.
But if you were to actually look at Hambantota, that whole area, that district,
Yeah.
it had not seen any development at all
Yeah.
for 30, 40 years, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And the airport and the seaport
Yeah.
gave it life.
Right.
Gave that district life. If you look at the infrastructure development that has happened, around the airport and the seaport, it's fascinating. It's massive. But it has to develop. The destination has to develop, and then these projects will come to life. Whether Mattala was the best location for an airport is
That's debatable.
debatable.
Right.
But those are I would say political.
The United National Party had it not far from Bentota. Well, somewhere there.
There was a time when a second airport was going to be located 6 kilometers away from Mattala during a previous
Yes, that's right,
administration. So it has always been on the cards, if I may, no matter what the administration may have been. It has always been on the cards. So this time it happened.
They say that this government opposed it because, apparently all the elephants were disturbed from where Mattala is now. And that led to a politician from the area to say that there aren't any elephants in the south anyway.
Not so. There are elephants.
There are elephants.
There are elephants.
But I think he was meaning the political elephants.
From a political standpoint, yes.
So, when do you think Mattala will ever be routinely used for passenger movements?
Absolutely, I have no doubt about it. I have absolutely no doubt about it.
Right.
We have Sri Vijay, which is a Indonesian airline that just started operating this month, and I'm trying very hard to give them the connectivity between Mattala and Saudi, which is where their passenger loads are moving towards. So it's happening. You come out well. So I want to acknowledge that you come out well, and thank you. It's very encouraging when we have professionals. Professionals such as you running our key institutions. It's wonderful. It's something that we're always keen on promoting as journalists and so on. But now, the chairman, I had to ask you this question. The chairman of Sri Lankan, or the CEO of Sri Lanka, is Jayaratne's brother. Do you have the misfortune of being sort of somebody's brother and you say, oh God, no, don't bring that up? Are you somebody's brother? Absolutely not. You're talking about Captain Suren Ratwatne.
Yeah.
He and I have a very, very cordial relationship.
Yes, but is one of your brothers or sisters some minister or I don't know, whatever? Are you? Do you have a?
No, I have absolutely no connections of that nature.
Right.
But
so I'm glad what you're saying is you're here on your merit, because obviously somebody somewhere recognized that and said, come and serve.
I sure hope so.
Because you only came for a year, but 8 years later,
I'm still
you're
here.
still here.
I'm still here.
They liked you so much that they said, stay back.
That's what I think.
And
happened.
as a returning resident, is it a positive experience for you?
It has been very positive aviation-wise.
Right.
But I would like to see aviation rushing faster than it is right now. Because what is true in the morning changes in the evening.
Right.
That is how dynamic aviation is. Sri Lanka, in its own sense, has its limitations in that sense, and I would like to see that change.
Thank you. You know, this, as I keep saying, this program is watched by everybody, including widows and widowers and all that. Here you go. One of our regular viewers. Silk route is good, particularly with the immigration option. Can we please have some coffee, tea, and better seating? If you took the coffee out and kept the tea and the comfortable seating, what do you think? Do you think this viewer is going to experience it?
To this viewer, I would say seating is going to change.
Right.
We have new furniture coming in, and the tea service is something we will definitely look at.
Johanne, Jayaratne, as we come to the end of this morning's program, on behalf of the Capital Maharaj Group, our network and Team News First, I want to say, you know, good luck. We are actually encouraged by what you're doing, and we wish you all the very best. If you want to rope us in on something, you know, all you have to do is holler. We're at the end of a telephone line or an email, and we'll do our best to do our bit for our country.
Thank you very much. And to the passengers who go through BIA, my only request is to work with us, because it is for the nation.
Indeed, and on behalf of our group, the Capital Maharaj Group, I say to you again, we wish you and Team Airport all the very, very best.
Thank you.
And,
thank you very much.
We won't be phoning you for because you say that there's a silk route, so that's the only available facility, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Just don't be phoning him now and bothering him. Right. So, you know, pay your $50 and get on there.
Very good.
So, Mr. Jayaratne, thank you very much for being on Newsline.
Thank you very much.
It's been a great
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
And that's it from Newsline today. We hope you enjoyed the segment, and we look forward to seeing you here, as Mr. Rasuddin says, same time, same place on TV1. Take care, have a great week ahead, and God bless.